Alright, good afternoon, folks. Grown black folks talk, broken news, and what to do about it. Now, I have been meaning to post this content for several days, but in April and May, it is exceptionally windy in the afternoons. So when I come out to walk, generally, the video quality is not good enough. Now, today, we have high wind predicted, so I came out a little bit earlier to do my walk because I don't walk in high winds if I can help it. And also because I wanted to do this topic because it is extremely important. Now, by news, broken news, we know about breaking news, right? I generally mean mainstream news, in which I was once a working professional journalist, but this also would apply to social media. I was told by Professor Austin Longcott, the greatest black man that ever taught at San Francisco State University, journalism department, that mainstream news exists to support the status quo. Now, understand that the line for the entire United States of America, for those of you that are here, and this probably will go anywhere that Europeans have made their stamp. First of all, that Europeans are superior and have the right to have done everything that they have done and that it is good. So understand that is the status quo. We didn't say anything about whether that was truthful, but what you need to do, get from the headlines to where everything else is, find out where the news you can use is. Or, in this mindset, find out where the darker skinned bodies are buried. Because there are still people burying them. And a lot of what happens with news is to have certain people so upset, so traumatized, but so lacking in information you can do to change situations for your community and yourself. I'm going to talk about the difference in a minute. Is that you can't change anything in your locale because you're too busy being upset. What you have to do is cut through. First of all, does it affect you and your locale? What is being done and who is doing it? That's the news you can use in most cases. If it's not being done in your locale, it probably still affects your locale in ways that you're not thinking about. Now, before I go there, let me say this. It is not necessary to watch all 6 hours or 24 hours if you have cable of news that's available. You want to know what the highlights are. Deal with the emotional upset and then cut through to the other side, which is where you have to get involved with the news and find out how you can use it. Okay? There is no reason to sit up and be traumatized by social media or by the mainstream media with its constant stream of bad news. There's no reason for you to be caught up in that. Find out what's going on and then get to work on finding out what you can do. Opportunities and challenges. There are many opportunities in the world. I'm saying this and I'm going to keep saying it. I'm saying this and I'm going to keep saying it. With all the struggles that are available, this is the greatest economic opportunity that any of us will ever see in our lifetime. Greatest opportunities for abundance because of the 21st century economy. You've got the internet and blockchain. Some people are calling it the fourth industrial revolution. It will only happen once in a century on average. We're sitting in the middle of it. There's a lot of opportunity out there. And with a lot of opportunity to get understanding. But you have to not sit there and be traumatized by your timeline on whatever social media you want. Or traumatized by whatever mainstream news that you get. And you have to really put in the work to find out where's the news that you can use for you. A little further research is sometimes helpful. So, let me take an example. The Russia-Ukraine war. Now, I will not watch a whole lot of that coverage. I'm trying to keep black bodies from being mangled right where I am. I'm trying to keep black bodies out of prison. I'm trying to keep black young bodies in school. I'm trying to help make sure that the black young women and girls I know can get out of abusive situations. All that takes time, energy, money. It takes a lot of emotional energy. So, I don't have time to get caught up in that. However, I have done my research enough to know. Here's what I found out. Here's some news you can use from the business conference that I went to. It so happens, it was a crypto conference, and it's not going to make sense till I link it up. See, this is why you have to go beyond the news that you're watching. So, our Secretary of Defense is going to sit up here talking about weakening Russia, so they can't do things like this again. Okay, that's true. But the pause is important in what he said. Sometimes little historical news is also helpful. There are a couple things you have to know about. Why did the United States really go into Iraq? Well, it just so happened that Saddam Hussein was trying to convince the oil-producing nations, OPEC, to go to the euro and to remove the US dollar from being the denomination in which oil is bought and sold, the petrodollar. That would have brought the United States dollar down by 50% pretty much overnight. The United States takes a very dim view to people that do that. Well, it just so happened that in this world, and I learned this at the conference, there are cryptocurrencies based on all forms of energy and also commodities. They're solar power based cryptos. I've encountered some of those. There are cryptocurrencies based on gold and silver and other commodities, including oil. And if I tell you that Vladimir Putin let his mouth be opened as being interested in working with OPEC to put together a cryptocurrency based on oil and thereby to rival the petrodollar, does it now make sense to you why your tax dollars are being sent to Ukraine? And also why you are being told every day that you must care about this and that you must get emotionally involved and that you must be covered with these pictures. And the Ukrainians are suffering. They didn't do anything to deserve being in the middle of this. Now does it make more sense why the mainstream media wants you to be caught up in why it is necessary for us to send our tax dollars to the Ukrainians? Don't get me wrong. What's happening to the Ukrainians is unfair and unjust, and Vladimir Putin will pay for that if he's not already paying for it, because we haven't seen him for a little while. Notice he's gonna get judged for that. Russia's gonna pay a terrible price for that. If you read your Bible, you already know that. But why are we in the United States being programmed to believe that this is what is necessary for freedom and justice around the world? Because possibly it's because actually someone threatened the petrodollar. So when you do your politics in November and you look at how your tax dollars are being allocated, that's the news that you can use, because now you can do something with it. You can do something with it. Not much, but something. Even something that doesn't seem to affect you, it does. And then, you have, I presume you have dollars in your wallet. So if you have dollars in your wallet, that affects you every day. There are probably a few people listening to me who are like, well, we need to have our dollars. It makes sense for the United States to be willing to work with people to defend its interests. There may be some of you who have that point of view. But the thing is, did you get that from the mainstream news? Or did you have to come over here and listen to where you did not expect to get it? And that's my philosophy. It's always going to be, I'm going to try to bring you solutions. I'm going to try to bring you information where you can actually put things together. Even though I'm not a working professional journalist, that's still my mindset. So, let's talk about this. Let's break it down. I'm going to close this video and start the next one. Because you may be in the middle of a community that just doesn't give a darn about anything. And what do you do in a case like that? Should you get some news you can use and discover a solution that nobody is interested in? That'll be the next video. So let me close this one off because the wind is picking up. So I want to get these done. Don't just watch the news. Don't just watch social media. I was asked to make a response to a silly video of some black male wannabe terrorists who want to put black women's fat bodies up over their mantelpieces. This is the extent of my response to that. Click off that foolishness. Now that you know about it, go on about your business. Get your self-defense technology available. Folks out here want to make trophies. But the news you can use is, how much self-defense can you get? I was talking to a friend of mine about, I live in San Francisco. There are no gun ranges or gun shops here. So we just gonna figure it out. News you can use is, how do you get the resources you need to protect yourself? That's it. That's all. That's how I'm gonna deal with that. That's my response. And that's where I cut through when I see these headlines, when I see this stuff on social media. I deal with what I can deal with and I move on. And this is what I advise to you, because the point is to keep you so traumatized that not only do you never question the narratives being put out, but you never find the opportunities and you never learn how to defend yourself. That's why the news is broken. But we don't have to be. All right. On to the next video, Broken News Part 2. What do you do when you have solutions and nobody cares? Next video. All right, y'all have a good day now. Goodbye.